Good morning, Link Sales Formula members. Julie Mason here. I'm still recovering from my cold/head cold, whatever it is, laryngitis, and still have this deep husky voice. But here's what I wanted to share with you today. I've had a couple of conversations this week on the Facebook chat and also with some of my LinkedIn fast track clients around their frustration that they're not getting responses to their email sequences. And I want to address this because it's really important, and it comes down to two things: the P's and C's of LinkedIn. First one, what does P stand for? It stands for patience. Here's the thing, guys. Relationships take time. Trust takes time. You need to be patient while you continue to add value. And while on the message sequence examples that are in Link Sales Formula program for you to access, they might only have 3 or 4. What you need to be aware of is that that can continue. Don't just stop at 3 or 4. You want to continue past that. So it gives you a guideline to get started. So for example, back when I was cold calling, back in the day, the average numbers of touch points you needed to be able to get into becoming a factor in a prospect's mind was 7 touch points. Nowadays, research shows, and this was highlighted at a conference I went to in the US in March, that the average touch point today is between 21 and 24. So if you're doing 3 messages and feeling frustrated and feeling that this isn't working for you, then I'm urging you to continue adding to your message sequence, but also consider that you might want to do some out of the box thinking as well, depending on the price point of your services. If your services are, under $2,000, then you want to keep your cost levels very low. And what I mean by that is your marketing needs to be around 10% of your budget of what your ideal client will spend with you. So if it's $2,000 that they will spend, you need to be considering that in that $2,000, you need to take out $200 of that to go towards your marketing budget. For every client that you get, you need to put $200 into your marketing budget. That gives you a rough idea, right? So I was talking with my client in Germany this week, and his client is an average spend between $80,000 and $100,000. Now, I know that's quite big for many of you here in this group. I understand that. But as I was saying to him, you really need to be thinking about spending a couple of $1,000s in order to get that client. Now, one of the things that he comes up against is that his clients are not allowed to receive gifts over the value of a certain dollar point. And that dollar point is like $30 to $50 Australian, or about $50 Australian. So about 30 euros, something like that. So we worked out things that he could send them, physically send them, that might actually help with the cut through. So let me give you an example here. He would investigate is the appropriate word, but we call it stalking in Link Sales Formula. He would find who the ideal contact is through LinkedIn, and yes, connect with them, send the LinkedIn article with value, do a flushing question, send another LinkedIn article with value, offer to provide a free consultation on message 4, continue to offer, some value through his podcast, and are they interested in podcasts, and send the link to that, and continue to, add value down that train on LinkedIn. But also, while he's doing all of that on LinkedIn, he can send them a physical thing, such as we worked out that the 2 things his ideal client want is 1, he wants to cut costs, and 2, he wants to save time, and there's 3, and 3 is to increase profits. So the three things that they could be sent is, one, could send him some branded scissors in a box, for example, which would represent cutting, the costs that they have. And you would send a letter, a properly crafted letter to go with that would, tie in with why you're sending the scissors. The second thing could be to send a inexpensive watch. It doesn't have to be dear, but an inexpensive watch, which is about saving time and how precious time is. So that would be a second thing that they could send. Now, all up, we worked out a strategy of things that they could send, not just online on LinkedIn, but offline as well, that would actually get cut through and allow them to do it, including things like, I got a bit close to the camera then, didn't I? Including things like this. Now, years ago, I still have some of these, but years ago, I did this as a marketing strategy. Let me get this one. I did this as a marketing strategy to attract my clients, and I bought these little auto bins on eBay, a couple of dollars each, like $2 or $3 each. And essentially, I wrapped up a letter. I actually crunched up the letter. It basically said, "Are you wasting time?" This represents waste. So, are you wasting time? I crunched the letter up, scrunched it up, and put it in there with a kind of a bit of a facetious tongue-in-cheek. In part of that letter included something along the lines of, "I saved you the trouble of throwing this away." And then I taped this down, so it was taped down, and I put the postage and the postage stamp on the outside of it and sent it as that. Now, that gets through because it's unique, it's different, it's lumpy mail, it's only a couple of dollars, it doesn't take a lot, but it can also create great cut through for you to get to your ideal target market. So I want you to also think about, being elegantly persistent. I think that's a great term that Carissa's come up with. The green bin, Julie. I have a green bin. Kieran, here it is, my love. Green bin. I have an orange one as well. So, yeah. That's to you. Excuse me. I'm still got my cold. So essentially, these are some ideas that you can come up with that can help you. They're very inexpensive, and they can give you some cut through to, finding your ideal client. So patience, P also stands for persistence. I think that's really important that you are persistent with your marketing. A marketing mentor of mine said to me many years ago, if somebody subscribes, you want them to stay on your email list till they unsubscribe or die, right? And somebody once said to me, until they buy, but if they buy, they should then go into even more subscription emails from you anyway. So don't take silence as a no. Silence is it's just silence. There is no or yes. It's just that you haven't convinced them to respond in any way, shape or form yet. So keep going, people. The other one, the C that I have in the title of this video, the P's and the C's, so persistence and patience is really key. C is consistency. You need to be consistent with your content. You need to be consistent with your relationship building. Don't slide off with that. Now, I feel a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black. But here's the thing, guys. I built my reputation. I built a solid reputation from being consistently posting twice a day, every day for 5 years when I started my business. And I've done a hell of a lot of work over that time frame in the last 10 years in building that value add. Now, quite frankly, I need to get back on the horse and do that as well. So maybe this is my accountability to you guys to do that. And we have been posting more consistently on LinkedIn. However, I can up the ante on that, and I will be. But what I want you to be aware of is that you can't just do the posting on the messages and not have anything going out on the news feed. Because when they see who you are, they will go and check your profile, and on your profile will be your recent activity, and they're going to see where else are you showing up, or are you just going underneath and doing the messaging and not adding value and feeding them in their news feed. Make sure that there's a balance there, guys, that you're consistently feeding them in two areas with great value. So yes, message and inboxing is great, but don't forget content, and regular content is really helpful as well. So keep that in mind and make sure that you're doing that. And this means that your articles that you do, which are really about thought leadership, those articles are used mostly to go out in the groups and in your message sequence, so it can be rich, juicy value that you deliver to your ideal prospects via the private messages. But your newsfeed posts, the content can be short snippets taken from those, articles that become little, posts that go out. It could be, a motivational quote. It could be a testimonial that you receive from your clients. It could be, an article of somebody else's that you found really beneficial. It doesn't have to be all of your stuff as well. It can be other people's content too that is relevant to your target market. So don't be afraid to share that too. So I hope this has been really helpful. I wanted to get on and just share these thoughts with you because I've seen, particularly Carissa has been really struggling with some of this in the last couple of days. My client in Germany has been really struggling getting his head around the fact that he's expecting instant results, and unfortunately relationships, they take time. Social media takes time. People have got so much coming at them nowadays that you have got to be consistently showing up, consistently adding value, and you need to be really focused and being elegantly persistent. I think that's a beautiful phrase, Carissa, so I'm going to steal that from you a little bit. Elegantly persistent. Make sure you're always coming from a place of service, not from a place of spamming or trying to sell to them, but always be serving. Okay, so make sure that you're serving. So they're my thoughts for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I can see a few people have jumped on to watch this, so a big shout out to those who have, Phil and Kieran and Brian and the others. Rose I saw jump on as well. So great to see you all, guys. Hope this has been helpful. Love to hear your comments. Pop them into the chat below if you like. And I hope this has inspired you in some way to keep going with what you're doing on LinkedIn. All right. So love you. Have a great day. Bye.